I wanted to take a little bit of time and show you how you're going to be able to do a test on Schoology. Now, what I have here is the practice assessment that's located in the same Schoology folder as this video. So to get started, all you have to do is click on Start a New Attempt. Now, when you come to an actual question that's going to be on the test, there's a few things that I want to point out. First of all, down at the bottom here is all of the questions that are on the test. So this practice has 4 different questions on it, and if you wanted to jump in between questions or maybe go back and change an answer to a question, you can just click on any of those numbers and it'll take you to that specific problem. If you just want to go to the next question, of course, hit next. Along the right panel here, there's 3 buttons. The one that you care about the most is the one that's on the bottom. That one is your calculator. So if you don't have a calculator with you, there's one on the test, and you just click on that and you can use this one here. The button that is above it is the accessibility option. So if you want to change the way that it looks on the screen, or maybe how large the print is or something like that, you can do that in the accessibility button. The top one is a review. So if you get to the end and you want to review any of your problems, you can do that here. Now, as far as the types of problems and how to answer those kinds of problems on the test that you're going to see, we'll start with this first one. It's a multiple choice question. What is the inequality for this graph? And when we look at the graph, we see that we have a dot on the -3 and an arrow going off to the right. So obviously -3 is our most important number. That's why all of our options over here have -3 in them, and it's x is greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to that -3. Now, because our arrow is going to the right, that describes all of our x's. So all of these values for x are on the bigger side of -3. So we want our x's to be greater than -3. And because we have a dot on this -3, that means it can be equal to -3 as well. So we're talking about an inequality where x is greater than or equal to -3. So in order to select that one, we just go ahead and tap the button that's to the left of x is greater than or equal to -3, and we're done. So we move on to the next question. This next question is a matching question. It says to match the inequality with the graph. And if you notice on the top here, we have 5 different inequalities. And if you scroll down, you'll see that we have 5 different options. And that's what we need to match. So to do that, I'm going to scroll back up here, and I'm going to take a look at my first option. This one has an arrow pointing to the left of -5 and a circle on -5. Since we have a circle on -5, we're talking about not being equal to -5, so either greater than or less than. Because the arrow is going to the left, we're talking about all the numbers that are smaller than -5. So I'm going to take this option and just drag it to x being less than -5. It puts it in its place, and if you notice, it's no longer down below. So we just move on to the next one. Same graph, the only difference is that now I have a dot on the -5 instead of a circle. So it's going to be less than or equal to. Let me just drag that to less than or equal to -5 and leave it. When we only have a dot on a number and there's no arrow, that means that that's the only value that x can be. So x is only equal to -5, not greater than or less than. For the last two, both of these arrows are to the right, so they're greater thans, and my only 2 options that are left are greater thans. So my first one has a circle in it, which is strictly greater than, and the last one has a dot on the -5, so that's greater than or equal to. Once we have everything in its place, we go ahead and click next. Now we have a more traditional type of math problem. We want to just solve this inequality. X plus 8 is greater than -14. And this is where you're going to need a separate sheet of scratch paper. Probably going to want to do your work somewhere else, because the only thing that we can put into this test is our answer. So on our separate sheet of scratch paper, we maybe write out x plus 8 is greater than negative 14. And we go at solving it. Since we have a plus 8, we want to get rid of that. We're going to subtract 8 from both sides. Those two cancel. We're left with x over here. And negative 14 minus 8 is negative 22. Of course, you could use a calculator to calculate that, whether you have one at home or using the one online here. But now it's time to type our answer into the problem. So we tap inside the box, and you'll notice this thing pops up. All this is a little keyboard, and you can use the keyboard on your device to just type in like normal, but there are a few things on here that are going to be a little more helpful for us when we need to use symbols like add, subtract, multiply, divide, or greater than, less than. It'll be easier to type it in from here. So to type in our answer on my keyboard, I'd use X. Maybe over on the screen, I would use greater than negative 22. So let's try the last one on here. We got negative 3/4 x is less than or equal to negative 12. So on my scratch piece of paper off to the side, I'd be doing my work. Negative 3/4 x is less than or equal to negative 12. And of course, to get rid of that fraction, I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal, the 4 over negative 3. That'll get this stuff to cancel. So I'm going to multiply by 4 over negative 3. We'll have x. Because we multiplied by a negative number, we're going to have to switch the inequality. And so now we need to calculate that. So I'm going to grab the calculator tool that's on here. Let me move it over so we can see it. And to find out what that answer is, I'm just going to take negative 12. I guess I got to go 12 negative. And then multiply it by 4 over negative 3. So negative 3. It equals, and we get 16. That means that our answer is going to be x is greater than or equal to 16. Now we have to type our answer into our answer space. So we hit the blank again. Start with x. We need greater than or equal to, so I'm going to grab that symbol out of this keyboard, and then 16. When we're all done, we can hit review, and we see that there's the blue marking underneath number 4 says that we're on number 4. Because we have black bars underneath 1, 2, and 3, that means we've completed 1, 2, and 3, and we're ready to actually turn the test in. So we click finish, and then we should be done.